Y'all better hide your kids, hide your wife, and cleanse the fuck out of your house, because we're about to uncover some demon lore. Hello, my fellow warriors, hope you're doing well. If not, you can always cleanse your house. It sometimes helps. As per your request, today we'll be covering Fiddlesticks, the Ancient Fear. I'll react to the cinematic, and along the way, we'll explain some things that you might not know about the Ancient Fear. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, well this is interesting. Usually they would like write the location of the place that this video is taking place in, but this time they didn't do it because I guess we don't know the location. But technically we know where this is. This is happening in Demacia. You can tell by those buildings in the background that has very distinguished Demacian architecture. We also know that technically Fiddle has awoken in Demacia and is now hunting in Demacia. He's not near the great city, he's actually on the outskirts, hunting like in the corners of the land. I guess to just avoid too many people and soldiers and like taking his time with his prey.
A full tankard in a warm tavern was the plan. Not extra watch.
Whole countryside's on edge after 𝗬𝘂𝗪.
Oh, 𝗬𝘂𝗪. Oh, yeah, I don't blame them. 𝗬𝘂𝗪 shook that place hard. For those of you who haven't read the For Demacia story, 𝗬𝘂𝗪cian crown guard, 𝗵𝘂𝘂𝗪's and 𝗬𝘂𝘂𝗪ce's great-grandfather, has fought �𝘬𝘂𝘪 on those lands and defeated him. Or at least that's what everyone thought. You see, 𝗬𝘬𝘂𝘪 has never died. He was just kind of entombed into 𝗬𝘂𝘂𝗪's grave until something made him get up from his nap. 𝗬𝘬𝘂𝘪 kept attacking the folks with nightmares to the point where the folks grew so paranoid they couldn't catch any Z's. And that means that slowly but surely they just started to lose it. One of the beloved town members even murdered his child and wife, thinking that they're demons. And the town folk, well, they went full-on 𝗬𝘂𝗪 witch trials, begging 𝗵𝘂𝘂𝘪 to execute the poor bastard in the middle of the town square, thinking he was possessed by a mage. 𝗵𝘂𝘂𝘪 didn't hesitate. It took 𝗬𝘂𝘂𝘪, 𝗵𝘂𝘂𝘪, and his 4 chads to banish 𝗬𝘂𝘂𝘪. And by that I mean 𝗵𝘂𝘂𝘂𝘪 and his chad squad playing Ghostbusters with 𝗬𝘂𝘂𝘪's shadows, while 𝗬𝘂𝘂𝘪 had to exorcise the Antichrist himself.
Fuck this. Fuck. Did you see this? Look at this.
Father, think of the child. Filthy mages.
I love how every time something happens, they just blame the mages for everything.
Mages.
And you know, it takes me back to something really fucked up in that 𝗬𝘂𝘂𝗪 story. So that kid who was possessed, yeah, he was a mage. He literally ran away from home, fearing for his life just to be possessed by 𝗬𝘂𝘂𝘪. And you know what 𝗬𝘂𝘂𝘪 does? She gives the kid a speech about how it's okay to be a mage and how he should go home, yet she didn't care to explain anyone in 𝗬𝘂𝘂𝘪 about the fact that this whole thing didn't even happen by a mage, but by an actual demon. Yeah, go ahead. Tell the kid who ran away from home fearing for his life for being a mage that everything's gonna be fine. Oh, I bet he's gonna be super excited to find out that the crown guard decapitated his neighbor in the middle of the town square. And that wasn't for even being a mage, but being controlled by one.
They show up here, and I'll come.
I love how he doesn't even finish that sentence. It's like, oh, they're gonna show up? I'm gonna kill them. Oh, he's using his voice. Oh, it's so fucked up.
𝗬𝘬𝘂𝗧!
Oh, this is so creepy.
Help me!
Oh my god. Oh, you can hear the crows. And you see their shadows. Oh my god, Jesus. Now, let's talk demons. In ancient Eastern religions and in Abrahamic traditions, including ancient and medieval Christian demonology, a demon is considered a harmful spiritual entity, which may cause demonic possession. In Western occultism, a demon is believed to be a spiritual entity that may be summoned and even controlled. In League of Legends, we have a mix of both. On one end, we have demons like Nocturne, that matches the Abrahamic and Christian traditions with its creepy-ass child possessions, and on the other end, we have demons like 𝗷𝗾𝗪, Sswain's demon, who is summoned and controlled by the Grand General himself. By the way, 𝗷𝗾𝗪 is an actual demon from the 𝗬𝘀𝗬𝗪 Demonium, which is like a catalog of demons and devils. 𝗷𝗾𝗪 was the great Earl of Hell, ruling 30 legions of demons. He was depicted as a crow that adopts human form at the request of his summoner. His whole thing was destroying cities and dignities of men, which I, as a Sswain main, can absolutely vouch for. You ain't shit! Besides Sswain and Nocturne, the other demons in the game are Evelyn, 𝗪𝗂𝗪, 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝐾𝗪, and Fiddlesticks. There isn't much we know about Fiddle's lore besides the fact that he was summoned by some foolish mage who thought he could control him. Or at least that's what the story says. What we do know is that Fiddle is currently somewhere in the Demacian mountains, probably around the 𝗵𝘁𝗪 area, where he can feed upon terrorized victims since he is drawn to areas thick with paranoia. And with the whole mages and Nocturne thing, that area is a perfect feeding ground. Fiddle is the demon of fear, and that means that he can see into the deepest fears inside of you and point them out. There are 15 champs in total who he interacts with, 11 normal champs and 4 other demons. With the normal champions, he points out their fear. With the demons, he just calls them out by name, or what they represent. So with Annie, for example, losing her father and stepsister was her greatest fear. With Garen, it was when he found 𝗏𝗪𝗃 was a mage, MF's and Vayne's fear were the loss of their parents, and so on and so on. With Evelyn, Nocturne, Tom, and Sswain, he mentions them by name, or their intentions, since they're also demons. But unlike Fiddle, they're considered lesser demons. After going over Jared Rosen's Twitter, the genius behind Fiddle, I found some interesting things about our boy. Like the hint at how old Fiddle truly is when calling Kindred the Grey Man, referencing the Kindred origin story when they first were one entity that split in two, and how the first of 10 got nothing to do with the existing demons in the game. Which means when Fiddle says first of 10, the demons that we know in the game have nothing to do with it. So what does it actually mean? There is a theory that the first of 10 might be his skins around Runeterra, since every region describes him differently, but then it clashes with the Demacian poem at the beginning of the Voices story. 10 great kings took 10 great thrones, 9 crowns adorn 9 heads, 1 left to scratch upon their mounds, the crow, alive and dead. So there's clearly more to it. What is it exactly? We don't know. All we can do is just wait for more information, like who were the 10 kings, why there were only 9 crowns, and why was there only 1 left, alive and dead? Is it that Fiddle might have been a king who sacrificed all others to gain power? Is it that there are more demons besides Fiddle who will one day resurface? Or is it maybe that he was the first to maybe be manipulated and controlled by a human? Okay, so hear this out. After Cinderwind and Gravity go burr on the Noxian fortress in Phaelor, fragments of historic lore were discovered. The red ink and English translations closely resemble another Noxian document we have seen in the past. And although it says in the document that the author is unknown, there was one specific Noxian family who was looking for a demon. And that is one of the first noble families in Noxus, the Sswain clan. Way before Sswain found a way to control 𝗷𝗾𝗪𝗃, it was his parents who were actually seeking the demonic eyes blazing in the dark. It was only after Sswain came back from the battlefield and went to uncover what truly lay within the immortal bastion that he found an ancient entity, preying upon the dying and consuming their secrets. But Sswain saw what even it could not, a way to control it. So although this is just a theory, there's a big chance that his parents were actually the one who wrote this historic document. Or maybe it was even Sswain himself. Now here's what's interesting. It was another document that was found alongside it. It was an image closely resembling a lesser key of Solomon, a summoning circle. We know that this specific circle somehow connected to Fiddle since it was shown on his video, but in the actual game you never see it. Not even when he ults. Probably because he doesn't summon himself. Which brings me to the next thing. There's another summoning circle that resembles Fiddle's circle, and that is 𝗷𝗾𝗪𝗃's summoning circle. And honestly, it's really hard not to notice a similar theme between these two. Their auto attacks look suspiciously alike, their color themes are similar, and on top of that, Riot themselves confirmed that there is a connection between the two. Not only that, but we also know that 𝗬𝗠𝘂𝗧 was born from Fiddlesticks. There was a theory that Swain locked Fiddle's demon in its cage, but throughout Fiddle's animations, you can see him coming in and out of it freely. I don't even think that the demon is in there against its will. The dude's gotta feed. And as an ancient being with no physical form, I think this was his best chance at adapting to his surroundings. Kind of like how Evelyn takes the form of a seductress to feed on men and their wives. So although the idea of Fiddle being puppeteered could be awesome, by the end of the day, he's just an asthmatic crank. For the last bit of this video, let's break down this document. In the demonic tree line itself, you can see fear, connecting with something else to create secrets. And under secrets, there are 3 different sentences written in what I can only guess 𝗤𝘂𝗪𝐺. The writing is also similar to the writing in the library interior, and the magical circle at the bottom also looks quite familiar. Which makes me wonder, what if the secret knowledge was actually brought from the Blessed Isles? I mean, with a whole secret magic artifacts and knowledge, it kinda makes sense. So we can see 3 main branches, with fear being the one in the middle. On the right side, we can see a couple of things. We see 7 circles with 3 main circles, and it looks very similar to Fiddlesticks' summoning spell. Question is this the representation of Fiddle being the first of 10 demons in the outer circle? Then we see 𝗬𝗠𝘂𝗧's head right above secrets, and right underneath it, 3 different names. The branch then splits into one that leads into obsession, and one that leads into an unknown faded name. In between these 2 branches, there are 2 more that are not connected to anything, kind of like the shapeshifters from the 𝗤𝘂𝗪 tree line. Now, if we look at the right side, we can see 𝗬𝗠𝘂𝗧's triangle. The eye, I think, is a representation of how all of these demons can see things, whether it's fear, secrets, or the needs of their prey. Here at the top, there are 10 different keys. We know that Fiddle possesses 3 keys, and that Zoe actually stole one of them. The only other champ with keys in the game is actually Thresh, but I don't think his keys got anything to do with this, although his design and obsession with souls is quite demonic. There's some people who believe that Zoe locked Fiddle in his cage, but we've already seen him come in and out of it, so that theory is kind of like dead. The last 2 branches are also connected to Azakana. But without any knowledge of this entity, there is nothing I can really add, since the writer himself wasn't sure of it. Last but not least, if we look at the whole bottom line, there are 9 words in total, with a word or maybe a name missing, and one that is scratched out. Again, it takes us back to the first of 10 theme, but since we don't know what's written there is nothing else we can add to it. I feel like once we'll get more information, we'll be able to figure it out. But until then, this is all I've got for you guys. I'm sorry this video took longer than usual to make, but I had to do a really extensive research to be able to pull out all the receipts to prove my points. As always, guys, I'd like to know your thoughts and theories, so don't forget to comment them in the comment section below. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye bye.